What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Hear Me Out, where we don't have a host. Jacob could not be with us for this.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. Jacob couldn't be with us for this recording session, so for this video and the next couple, it will be sans Jacob, so you're stuck with just me and Jesse. Sorry about that. But for today's episode, we are going to talk about who, if anyone, has the best road to becoming the undisputed heavyweight champion in the four-belt era. So we're going to kick it to Jesse. Boxing's a big thing for him, so we're going to let him start us off.
So I think that the betting answer here is Tyson Fury, right? He's the lineal champion. He's the best heavyweight in the world. Some hyperbolic people are saying he's one of the best of all time. He's not. But I'm going to go with Alexander Usyk has the best path. And the reason for that is he has to fight Anthony Joshua again, right? I don't think Anthony Joshua has what it takes to beat him. I think Anthony Joshua changed after the Andy Ruiz fight. He fights scared now. He's not an aggressive fighter anymore. He doesn't get in the box and now come after his opponents anymore. He's more timid. He has his opponents on the ropes. He doesn't try to finish them anymore. He tries to outbox his opponents, whereas he used to be more of a punishing fighter. And I don't think he has what it takes to beat Alexander Usyk ever. Really, I don't care how many times they fight. Alexander Usyk, there were points in the fourth to eight rounds of the last fight where Anthony Joshua looked like he had him on the ropes. Alexander wouldn't go down no matter what, and Alexander dominated pretty much the rest of that fight. So I don't think he has what it takes. So I think Alexander Usyk easily beats him last time. He beat him by unanimous decision this time. I think next time they fight, he's going to beat him even easier. He might even take him down and stop him like Andy Ruiz did in their first fight. Tyson Fury, on the other hand, he has to either face, the WBC is probably going to order him to face either Dillian Whyte or Otto Wallin. Dillian Whyte, I think he beats easily if he gets the chance. I think Whyte and Wallin will try to get their fight to happen first, and Wallin will win. And I think Wallin could beat Tyson Fury. He beat the hell out of him last time they fought. Tyson was a bloody mess. He pulled out the unanimous decision because he's a better boxer than Wallin, but Wallin is a punishing fighter. And I think if they fight again, that's a really, really hard fight for Fury. And then if Wallin wins that fight and takes the WBC belt, well, that undisputed fight's probably off. Or Wallin could turn around and try to fight Usyk, which I think Usyk wins easily. So that's why I'm saying I think Usyk has the best path forward to become the undisputed champion, because he doesn't have to go through Wallin. He has to go through Joshua, and I think Joshua just doesn't have what it takes to beat Usyk. That's my thoughts on that.
Yeah. I think it's kind of one of those unfortunate things, I guess, maybe not unfortunate, but one of those things where a lot of what goes into boxing is the matchups too, in addition just to who's the best boxer. Maybe you have a guy who could beat everybody else, but they can't beat that one guy. So maybe they won't get to be the undisputed heavyweight champion because of that one guy they can't beat when they could beat the entire rest of the boxing landscape. And I think that's what you have here, where Joshua is not a good matchup for Usyk. He's not. Right. Like you said, he's not fought the same recently. And I think with Usyk coming up from cruiserweight, it really is a different animal when it comes to fighting in these different weight classes. And so when you're fighting a guy who is and always has been a heavyweight, you kind of know what to expect out of him. And then you get this guy jumping from a different weight class, and you almost don't know what to expect from him anymore. I know it's boxing, I know it's all the same, but when you get to that professional of a level of anything, like the tiniest nuances make all the difference at that level. And so just being slightly different of a fighter is a big deal. I think it's hard for Joshua to adapt to that. And Usyk's a great fighter, but I don't see Usyk holding up well against Fury, just because Usyk's at the bottom end of the heavyweight and Tyson Fury is the size of a Kia Soul. I think it's going to be hard for Usyk to keep up with the pounding that Fury would give him. So I think Joshua has a much better chance of beating Fury, but I don't see Joshua beating Usyk.
Yeah.
But if Usyk
Yeah, and
takes his
that's
belts
actually
back and they fight, I think Fury wins it because it's just really unfortunate matchups to me.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's actually a great point about Usyk. So Usyk didn't have any tape on ever fighting a guy as big as Joshua, right? I mean, he fought two heavyweight bouts before that. They weren't Joshua. They were just, getting ready, get him accustomed to the division, right?
Right.
So there's no real tape for Joshua to have watched on Usyk. He didn't know how Usyk was going to come out. Usyk came out a lot more aggressive than he probably expected. Popped him in the mouth in the first couple of rounds, and from there he had the fight. I told you there was a couple of rounds he struggled in the middle, but from there on he had the fight. And it's it's that kind of thing where like he didn't have any tape on him. He didn't know what to expect. He came out, he got surprised. Can Joshua come back and beat him? I don't think so. He did come back. He got knocked out against Andy Ruiz, came back and dominated that second fight. Andy Ruiz is like the 7th best heavyweight in the world, right? He's not Usyk.
Right.
He's not going to do that same thing against Usyk. Usyk is a top 5 pound for pound in the world. And then, yeah, like you said, so Fury beats Usyk, right? There's that old adage that a great big man beats a great little man every time.
Mm-hmm.
The reason I say that Usyk has a better path to Undisputed is because to get to that fight, Fury has to go through Otto Wallin. And Fury was a bloody mess after the last time he fought Otto. Assuming Otto Wallin beats Dillian Whyte, which I think he will. Fury was a bloody mess after his last fight with Otto Wallin. Can he go through it again? He's a better fighter than he was then. True, Otto Wallin's still a machine. So that's the reason I say Usyk, because Usyk just has to go through Joshua again. I don't think Usyk's going to struggle with Joshua. I expected Joshua to win that fight. I wanted Joshua to win that fight because I wanted the Fury-Joshua matchup. It was going to be huge. Joshua's just not that guy anymore, I don't think. He changed after the Ruiz fight. He stopped having confidence in his right hand. I don't know what it was. But the fight I actually want to see, and this is a bit off topic, would be Wilder and Joshua. They're both monsters. They're both the same height. They're both aggressive power punchers. We were supposed to get that fight 4 years ago when they were both title holders before Fury came back from the mental health issues that he had. And I think that would be a more exciting fight, honestly, than seeing Joshua with Fury, because I don't think Joshua could beat Fury. He has a better chance than Usyk, like you said, but I don't think he can do it.
Yeah, I think that Wilder and Joshua would be probably the best matchup. Actually, that's a good point. I think Fury's gonna win his obligatory fight, no matter which of those two guys he has to fight. They're both great fighters. I just think Fury is still a better fighter than both of them. I know that he was pretty roughed up after the last one, but he still won, and I think he comes away.
Yeah, he did
with
win by unanimous decision.
He
won by unanimous decision. It wasn't. I mean, it was close. It wasn't particularly close. But my problem is, he won because he stayed on his feet, right? Like if he would have gone down from some of those shots, he wouldn't have won that fight. Obviously, Fury has a chin of a god because he took Wilder's punches and didn't go down,
right,
or didn't stay down. But yeah, he won it pretty handedly.
I think he wins them. I know that you mentioned that he won because he stayed on his feet, but if any of those punches put him down, he might lose, and you're right, but they didn't, and so that's
right.
Not luck, that's a tribute to Tyson Fury being very similar to boxing with a punching bag. I mean, he's almost immovable, and so I think he gets past that round. I don't want to say easily, but I'm confident that he does. If it's between Usyk and Joshua, I'm probably putting my money on Usyk. If I was a betting man, I'm not a betting man, and I always like to see the thing that wasn't supposed to happen in sports. So I think Joshua winning would be awesome just to watch.
Right.
But I don't think that's what's actually going to happen. And then I think you end up with a Fury-Usyk match, and I think Fury wins, and then you get your undisputed heavyweight champion for the first time in the 4-belt era. So, which would be cool. That would be cool to see as well, but kind of boringly predictable.
Right. Okay, so let's end on this then. One last question. If Joshua does fight, or he is going to fight Usyk again, but if they fight again and Joshua loses, does Joshua ever come back into the heavyweight title contention again?
I don't think so. I mean, I think after he loses his heavyweight belt chances twice to a guy who's basically not a heavyweight, I think part of what Joshua is struggling with right now, kind of like you mentioned earlier, I think a lot of it's mental. where a switch flipped in him and he's not the same fighter anymore. And the absolute worst thing that could happen to him mentally is to go out there and lose again to Usyk. I don't think he's going to retire and just hang up the gloves if he loses. But I think mentally he'll be done. And I think any chance of him coming back into contention will be over there, because he's not going to be able to flip himself back into the gear that he was in years ago when he was one of the scariest pound-for-pound fighters in the whole boxing landscape. He will not be that Joshua anymore, and I don't see him getting to compete again if he loses. He really needs this confidence boost of winning.
So I agree 100%. I'm trying to remember who. I think it might have been Sean Porter. I can't remember who said it the other day. Someone came out the other day and said that Joshua looked like he didn't care about losing anymore, which is a great point of how he looked. And I think it's a great point with, if he loses this second fight to Usyk, which will make it, he got upset by Ruiz a couple years ago and kind of changed the way he fought ever since, which he's only had 2 fights since. But then he comes back and he loses to Usyk twice. I don't think he's ever back in heavyweight title contention. I don't think he's ever going to get another big-time title shot. I think he comes back a little bit and fights Wilder probably, because they'll both be non-title holders. That's a big fight. And then he might fight a couple other heavyweights to try to get back into contention. I just don't see him ever doing it. I think he's not the same guy he was, and I just don't see him coming back. I think this is it. This is must win for his career. Yeah. Which, no shame to him. He had a great career. If he doesn't, but
absolutely. Yeah, no, I agree with that. Last question that I'm going to pose to you. I know you said we're going to be done, but now we'll be done. What do you think are the chances of us not getting an undisputed heavyweight at all?
So I think they're actually really good. But by at all, I mean in the year 2022 or 2023. So like the immediate future, I think they're pretty good, because like I said, if Fury has to go through Otto Wallin again and he loses that, then we're not going to get an undisputed fight, because Otto Wallin just doesn't have the resume to challenge for an undisputed crown. So he's not going to get that opportunity right away. And I think there's a good chance that Wallin does beat Fury if he comes out of the Dillian Whyte Otto Wallin fight. I would say probably like 20% chance we don't get it undisputed, which is a pretty good chance. But like you said, Fury takes care of business, Usyk takes care of business, then we're going to get that fight probably summer 2022, and we'll have an undisputed champion.
Yeah, I agree. I would put it a little lower, maybe like 10% chance that we don't get undisputed. I think it's fairly low. I think we're going to end up with one. But, again, I'm a big fan of seeing the unexpected happen. So I think it would be kind of fun for no one to win it at all, because no one would expect that. But that's good.
Otto Wallin, undisputed champion.
Hell yeah, I'll bet on it right now. No, I won't. But that's going to wrap it up for this one for us, guys. Thanks for tuning in and watching, and we will see you guys next week.